Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. All signs point to Bronny James being a Laker next year, regardless of what happens at USC. LeBron James is one of the greatest players in NBA history. He is also one of the most influential NBA athletes, especially when it comes to dictating who will be on his team. For the last 2 years, he has been telling us, repeatedly, that he will be playing with his son, Bronny James. And if history serves as proof, then we should take him at his word. My last year will be played with my son, James told The Athletic in February of 2022. Wherever Bronny is at, that's where I'll be. I would do whatever it takes to play with my son for 1 year. It's not about the money at that point. Not coincidentally, LeBron's contract also aligned with when Bronny was eligible to enter the league, giving him the leverage to back up his claim. In the 2 years since, LeBron has done nothing but double down on this statement. But what would Bronny's NBA stock look like if he were not the eldest son and namesake of LeBron James? The evaluation remains pretty consistent with what we were saying late into his high school career. Bronny deserves credit for playing the right way, valuing the ball, being a willing passer and, most of all, defending. In fact, it's been the defense that has translated best so far at USC. He's still not the creator that some assumed he'd be based solely on his name. But, the fact that his three-point shooting has yet to translate to the college level has been the biggest offensive surprise. He's a good athlete, with a compact and powerful body. But, he's probably not the 6'4" that USC lists him as. For a guard who plays primary off the ball to this point, that makes him undersized by NBA standards. As we said last year, his NBA projections depends on the extent to which his father ties the end of his career to Bronny's location. That continues to be true since, up to this point, Bronny has not done enough to be in the NBA draft conversation. In January of 2023, he told ESPN, "I need to be on the floor with my boy. I got to be on the floor with Bronny. Either in the same uniform or a matchup against him. I don't mean like guarding one another all game, because he's a point guard and at this point now I'm playing center or whatever the team needs from me. But I would love to do the whole Ken Griffey Sr. and Jr. thing. That would be ideal for sure." In October of 2023, he even made a commercial about it. An ad for Beats by Dre was narrated by his wife, Savannah, and she said, "Tell them you're not done till you play with your son, then do that again," as Bryce's face appears. Just last month, LeBron was in the Laker locker room saying, Bronny, could play for us right now. Easy. Easy. At the time, Bronny was averaging 7.5 points, 2.3 rebounds, and 1.7 assists while shooting 50% from the floor and 31.6% from deep in a backup role for a USC program while coming off the bench for a USC program that was 8-7 overall and 2-2 in the Pac-12. At last weekend's All-Star game, the same setting where James' initial comments had come 2 years earlier, LeBron was asked directly on the TNT set and he replied, "It's up to him. It's up to the kid. Obviously, we're going to go through the whole process. He's still in season now, has the Pac-12 tournament coming up. We're going to weigh our options and we're going to let the kid make the decision." That was a more lukewarm answer than he's given in the past, but it all still points in the same direction, despite Bronny's current averages of 5.5 points, 2.8 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 37% shooting from the floor, 62% from the free throw line, and 27.5% from behind the arc for a team that is now 11-16 overall and 5-11 in league play. But, what has changed in the last year regarding this situation is LeBron's clear intent to remain a Laker. 2 years ago, he teased a potential return to Cleveland. Earlier this month, in a game at Madison Square Garden, he did his post-game interview on national TV with a Knicks towel draped around his shoulders. A reported message to the Lakers front office, according to ESPN's Brian Windhorst. Although, at the trade deadline, the Warriors inquired about James' availability and they were rebuffed. That tells us everything we need to know. If LeBron doesn't want to move up the California coast to play with the best shooter in NBA history and his close friend Draymond Green, then he doesn't want to go anywhere else. It's also naive to think that any deal for LeBron would happen without the parties involved consulting Clutch first, meaning without LeBron's blessing. This impacts Bronny because now the scenario in which a team would draft him higher than this stock in hopes of attracting LeBron to follow him are outdated. LeBron wants to remain a Laker and Clutch would communicate that to anyone who inquired. Furthermore, LeBron wants Bronny with him. As a result, you can bet that Clutch would discourage any other team from drafting the younger James because of Bron's desires. So, it all boils down to this: Bronny James be a member of the Los Angeles Lakers next year, in my opinion. This isn't based on his play at USC. Instead, it's a byproduct of his father's stardom and his correlated influence. Also, to sweeten the pot for LA, LeBron will likely a multi-year deal instead of a one-year contract. This means, we should all go study how Bryce James was included in that, possibly infamous, Beats commercial. Pro Football Hall of Famer sends warning to LeBron James over hyping up Bronny James. Just recently, LeBron James has been all over the news defending Bronny James' future in the NBA. For his part, NFL Hall of Fame star Shannon Sharpe dropped a warning for the Los Angeles Lakers star about hyping his son up to the public. James' fiery reaction and defense of Bronny comes after ESPN moved the latter to their 2025 NBA mock draft from the prospective class of 2024. The Lakers star then shared on X how being included in a mock draft doesn't compare to the work that his son is doing. The thing is, just a year ago, James posted how Bronny is better than some players in the NBA. This claim has recently resurfaced and is in direct contradiction to ESPN's decision to move the younger James a year later to the prospective draft class of 2025. ESPN's decision on Bronny and James' take on that particular move has solicited opinions from several personalities in sports. While some of them support the Lakers star and his son, there are more who criticized them for James' earlier take about Bronny's future as a professional basketball player. Among those who gave their peace of mind on the whole Bronny issue is no other than Broncos star Shannon Sharpe. Here, he gives his take on the matter in an episode of Nightcap. In the video, Sharpe reminds James that comparing Bronny, a high school player, to guys actively playing in the NBA will draw a lot of attention. The Broncos legend added that if the comparison were done on James himself, it would have been true. The thing is, Bronny isn't his father, and he lacks the size and athleticism that made him one of the greatest players in the NBA. It remains to be seen whether Bronny can make it to the NBA next season or he'll have to wait for another year to make it happen. NBA, Rich Paul talks about LeBron James' retirement. LeBron James is 39 years old, but he is still playing at a high level. Despite dealing with an injured ankle for much of this season and playing too many minutes, his production has remained very good thus far. However, as he is in his 21st season in the NBA, many are speculating about his future with the Lakers and even how much longer he will play. It seems like he still has a lot to offer, but often, how long an athlete continues playing has more to do with the mental aspect of the game than the physical aspect. It's a topic that has also been talked about a lot when it comes to other all-time great players like Stephen Curry and Kevin Durant. Rich Paul, LeBron's agent and close friend, was asked about the player's retirement, and it's something he doesn't want to think about. "Look, I try not to think about it," Paul said. "It's a sad thought for me, and I try to keep the energy up. I don't like to think about it. And not because of anything, I'm fine, I'm calm." He's calm. You could bring up Steph Curry, and I would say I don't want to think about Steph Curry not playing anymore. I just don't want to. I didn't want to think about it when it was Kobe's moment, when it was AI's, Allen Iverson, moment. It's sad to see these guys going away. And not just the stars, a guy like Chauncey Billups, who I adored. So I don't want to talk about any of our greats leaving. I hope they can play forever. Paul insinuated that when LeBron decides to retire for good, it will be because he no longer loves the game of basketball. I understand the opinions and all that stuff. Everyone is trying to do their job and provide for their family, and some people get paid to give opinions, but again, at this point, he's playing because he loves the game. He's not playing for money, he's not playing for fame, he's not playing for trophies. He has every trophy you can imagine, probably too many. But he loves the game. He is lucky that everything depends on his mentality. Where a lot of guys have to stop playing because they just can't do it anymore, you know? So it's important for us to just appreciate the years that he has ahead of him and all these guys have ahead of them. One thing I know is he's been in the league for 21 years and he won't play another 21 seasons, that's for sure. I take it one day at a time, and like I explained to him, for me, if I was in this position, and I talk to him about it all the time, just continue to be a great example. LeBron is averaging 25.0 points, 7.9 assists and 7.2 rebounds per game, and he has maintained a high shooting percentage, including three-pointers. And you, fan, what do you think of the situation about LeBron James? Leave your opinion in the comments.